watching the clock, 10,000 hours go by. I keep putting in work, the tears are filling my eyes. I swear I've never been tested like this, but this is mine. It's not a matter of chance, just a matter of time. Never look back. If something standing in my way, I always push back. If something seemed impossible, I never took that. Nah, cause now I know better. Can't stop, won't stop, I won't quit ever. As far as won't take me, the highest fall it won't break me. The blood and sweat is what made me. I'ma get mine, just a matter of time.
Welcome back everyone to the LCK. My name is Joe, and here for the very last time, at least for this session here, as the Do and Dangun, they do their post-match analysis of what happened in that game 2. Really not losing the concentration of Game Jin-air, even through losing game 1 in this game 2. They feel like they have to get every sort of match point as they can, and here they are, bringing it back to even, and we're gonna be starting off with game 3 very soon here. But for the meantime, we do cover on what exactly happened in game 2. It was about Jin-air trying to get an early advantage and really punishing Gen.G on their little mistakes that happen over and over again. And really, when it came about, really was about Jin-air just benefiting off of the Gen.G mistakes, and that really did lead them to another win here. And we're in game 2, obviously, looking at what happened after they lost out. This is their second game. And just going with the blue buff, just casually. This is right here. It's a mid lane gank that will come through, just following those minions through and catching Fly off guard. Even with Graves pulling off that skill shot to drag him in, and Orianna left to no escape on that one and just has to use a flash to get out. And we just look at the fast forward as to just continuing on, just getting the Rift Scuttlers can be just fine. And just moving on, once again going back to mid, just avoiding that vision at all times, just constantly harassing the Orianna, and really going straight away, a speedway into the Rift Scuttler to the other river, and that's extra gold and experience. Now you see that the Swain is way ahead in terms of trades, and really no way for Orianna to fight back when you've been harassed like that 2 times in a row. And at the same time, you see is still very busy, very hard at work, trying to cover, just camp around the mid lane. You see Fly already being a little bit cautious, putting down that ward, but this is the last time where that pillar will now punish him, and Swain reacts very well, and Sejuani is not there in time. Vision a bit late on that one, and mean that Fly really just taunted over and over again by the opponent jungler, and did a very good job of utilizing his distance, his location, and knowing the location of his opponent jungler just to go for the poke ganks every single time onto that mid lane, back and forth, and eventually it did lead to an eventual death for the Orianna and Fly, having a hard time in the mid lane for most of that game, and really did lead to a Gen.G losing out. Now we're going to game 3. What the fans had to say was also interesting, is that really Jin-air, people don't know how good this team is or how bad this team is. This is really hard to tell, because sometimes you see a game like game 1, but game 2 tells us that it's a team very viable to beat out even a team like Gen.G. So will being praised obviously for his aggression, trying to catch out ambition, obviously all to all. But it's going to be game 3 when we begin. It's going to be very interesting. But let's look at the one-line summary. This is you can say this against the opponent more, against the opponent Orianna. 엄청나게 튀어나와서 it's just like very much he comes out often. He appears often, but you get the kind of the paraphrasing there. 엄청나게 튀어오네. So it's a T, just making the paraphrase on that one, and that's the best one he got for now. But let's see the best cast from you guys as we get on to Game 3.
Thank you very much, Joel, for the translation.
Basically, he was all over the map. It's
Yeah.
the English expression they were going for there, and he deserves the MVP because that early jungle pathing where he came out often won them the game.
So we'll go ahead and win that MVP. Very well deserved by him. Third win of the season for MT. So a good performance here on the Trundle. And it just, yeah, I mean, ran ambition around the map, was constantly ahead of him. Some really nice early ganks coming through here to get that flash out of Fly, and made for another easy visitation to get a kill.
Well-deserved victory here for Jin Air, and it was almost a perfect one. Kind of amazing they did that so well. Pathing here from Umti early, like we mentioned, roaming around the map. Umti has these moments. When he came back in that last series, they started Cow, able to make out pretty similarly like a bandit against Griffin. Reminding us that Umti, while he's had his down moments so far in the summer season, his high moments are very impressive. His aggressive mindset for the game can definitely take advantage of the enemy, and by the end, because of the shutdown on Fly, all these shockwaves are basically tickling the members of Jin Air and just allowing them to get closer and closer to closing out this game.
Yeah, early pick on the Orion, not really working out for Genji at all. They move back over onto the blue side. We'll see how they're going to fare, what kind of comp they can put together. We saw interesting bans by Jin Air on red. Do they repeat that? Do they force another blue side Talia ban? Or will they just change things up and go back to standard? Let's see what the focus is going to be from both of these teams as we get ready to move in. Just waiting for the coaches to enter into the booth to get this draft underway. But we hear that music. We see that sign, and there's going to be a player change. And it is not going to be Haru time. It's going to be Crown making a rare appearance.
A world champion emerges from the bench. He comes back in 2 games so far this season, Vel'Koz and Malzahar. He came back and played Crown Champions. Where's my Victor at, is all I want to know.
Haven't seen that one yet, but if Jin Air wanted to draft the same way that they did in Game 1, now they are probably going to have to ban the Talia, because if it's available, Crown will take that for himself.
Brought back Talia back into the meta after 2016 Worlds when she'd been nerfed and we saw no Talia. It was I Am Gyeonggi here in Korea.
Yeah, it's all the resurgence there.
Cast him, resurge that Talia to relevance. The Victor is the one I want to see because we haven't had buffed Victor on patch 8.14. Let's get going. Very cool to see an old face from the side of Samsung Galaxy's past. He's got a world skin. The Talia would also represent, hopefully, one of those Samsung Galaxy skins.
Yeah, maybe we'll see that one come through. I thought for a second that maybe we would see Sowon use the Nar skin in Game 2, but he didn't go for that. He went for the Gentleman Nar. He's anything but a gentleman in the Q-Ban lane, though. He was a bit of a bully.
Well, I imagine just the last bits of setup here. We can launch into our third game. Genji needs no explanation. Needs to win this one, otherwise it's going to be 4th rather than top 3 for them. That would mean they would have to play through the wild card, which they lost in to SK Telecom T1 in spring season. Would love to skip to some best of 5s, but even a 2-1 stat line doesn't guarantee anything for Genji. They started the series at the same game score as Kingzone. That means if Kingzone 2-0-2-0, 4th place will be guaranteed for Genji.
I mean, you think back to that moment, and not to dig up the dark memories, but that was the last time that we had Crown as the starting mid laner for this squad, and it ended up with him breaking down into tears in the booth because of that loss that they suffered at the hands of SK Telecom. So, like you said, a must-win situation basically for Genji, but Jin Air, playoffs isn't their hope. Genji's already locked into it. They want to go as high as possible to play the fewest amount of games in the gauntlet, but Jin Air, they want to avoid promotion tournament. They want to keep above MVP in the standings, force them to go back through with the likes of BBQ.
But what a story it would be. The team that came in after Rift Rivals 0-8 to make that big heist, get away from the relegation spots, only won their final match of the first round robin against BBQ Olivers, now looking to push towards 5 match wins. They will be 5-12 after this series. Whatever gets them away, Jin is definitely one of the longest standing stories of Korean League of Legends. Never with any big success. They've always been a perennial 5th through 8th team, but never relegated, always in the LCK. I don't know what the LCK looks like without GreenWings, so I need my Glad plane as often as possible, Achilles.
Well, it seems like maybe having some extended issues with Crown here in the booth.
It's a nice ring he has there.
Yeah, I'm just trying to get everything. I mean, we know Crown. He's got the bling, man.
This man does like to bling. He does like to play 3 to 4 champions at one point. That's just how he rolls. Ooh, the song's getting restarted. That's how you know.
We're looping it.
There's been an extended Crown issue.
You know, it's not enough that we have to go to third game in a Genera series. We, of course, have to have maybe some issues. But here we go. Coaches entering into the booth, so it seems like we are going to be ready to kick off this draft. The third and final match of the evening, of the week here at OGN. The last week of the regular season. Last full week of the regular season, I should say, because we do have matches next week. But here we go. Back over to the blue side. Gen.G banning away the Kindred first again.
Toronto first pick intensifies with a ban like the Kindred, but it's a favorite of Umti, who already had a wonderful performance on game number 2 on the aforementioned Trundle. Jin on the red side in game number 1 were already focus banning things like the Ashe and the Rakan. See if there's any adjustments in ban. Do they have to ban the Taliyah like you mentioned, Achilles? Because there is now a noted mid lane Taliyah player on the Rift. Seeing the calculations here from the side of Jin.
I think you might have to take it away.
They're actually going to ban Trundle second,
Okay.
so... All right.
Taliyah or Aatrox, which do you want to leave up?
Maybe both. Maybe you really play with fire. The Taliyah is going to be blue side banned again, even with the change in personnel in mid lane. Does mean the Aatrox can be banned. If Jin banned Ashe, it would be a pretty sick moment, I gotta say. That will be the swag ban.
How much practice have you got in there, QV? But not going to happen. It will be that Aatrox getting banned out. Gen.G with their first pick. No Trundle on the board. This opens things up a lot more than we're used to seeing. Still could have
Sejuani. Could just be a safe first pick. It's ambition. So I wanted to let you, flap your lips there about, exciting first pick, but no, it's going to be Sejuani. Sorry, Achilles.
Oh!
They found not Sejuani.
Aha! It's the other standard pick for
A
Gen.G.
plot twist has been shown. Now Jin, how will they feel about Sejuani?
So we were both correct and incorrect simultaneously.
That's what we're casters. We are often correct and incorrect in each sentence. Jin, they see the Tahm Kench, and you could consider the Gragas in this scenario to potentially knock the Sejuani or the Tahm Kench even closer. It is an old favorite of Ambition, so after seeing the extended hover, they will take away the Gragas rather than snapping in the Sejuani, as you might have assumed.
Flash Harengar for a second, but with the Gragas on the board, don't want to run that in top or in bot, it would seem. Still could flex it. We'll see what happens, but the Braum will be coming through again for Nova.
All right, Ambition, show us something new. We don't want to see Sejuani, even though it's really obvious pick. Were you hovering Sejuani just to bait the Gragas? Probably. But we'll never know, because it's just Sejuani. Because of course it is. It's Ambition.
Hope he can have some better ultimates this time around, but that's going to be the Ashe making its way through for Ruler. So another reliable pick for him.
Banned in 2 games in a row, so it makes a lot of sense that we will see the Ashe priority flexed in this game. Gives a lot of information about Umti's positioning. I think that's why Jin were preferring to ban it, Achilles, because Umti's positioning and pathing so it won them game number 2. So the opportunity to obfuscate information and not give the Hawk shot away, probably a pretty smart one by Jin for 2 games. But for the 3rd game, the Trundle ban comes in. We got the Gragas versus Sejuani as the remaining jungle matchup. And just the fast for bot size, we see Umti really hyped in the booth. A bit of a rallying call to his troops there.
He's feeling good. He just had an MVP performance on that Trundle in game 2.
But
now
who is going to be the
Gragas.
Gnar and who is going to be the Ken? That's the fun, interesting question to find out.
Maybe no one. Maybe they'll be banned.
Maybe. Maybe not.
Probably not. Gangplank, however. Oh, okay, we got one.
What about Kennen?
We got half of it. So Gnar off the table.
Ornn versus Cho'Gath potential is increasing.
Sounds so exciting. Camille gonna be banned away. Yeah, let's just get rid of all of the fun champions.
Yeah!
That sounds good.
Who needs playmaking?
Screw that. I like auto attacks and wet noodle fights.
But who's going to get Abyssal Mask first?
It's the race of the century.
Well, the final ban is going to be Jace to remove any interactive champions. Now Kennen is there. What about Mundo, though? He's getting a little bit more available to be picked. Could also be Gragas top lane, but we don't really think it's going to happen.
Darius is on the board, so Kennen seems like the safe blind pick.
It's a blocker pick to Mundo, so that's why I think they're going for it, because they don't want to play Mundo, and they don't really want to deal with Mundo, so it's going to be the Kennen. Malzahar is open, in case you guys are wondering.
Oh my god!
Cho'Gath Malzahar.
Could be.
Cho'Gath Vel'Koz.
Oh, that's a little bit more of a PogChamp.
What's it going to be from our good mate Crown in solo queue? He's playing a lot of normal Crown champions and the Zoe. So we'll see what he's feeling here. Be a blind pick, so you imagine it's going to be Ultra Crown. The Victor would be the most exciting.
Please.
Would he actually do it?
Crown, please do it. Can he convince the coach to allow it? It's Trace, so probably. Trace is crazy. Oh, maybe it's just a Zoe.
Makes sense
Okay.
with the pick comp that they've enacted. Is his most played in solo queue. Wasn't wonderful on the Zoe in spring season. But going to go to his Ultra default anyway.
But we know that it takes a while for Crown to master a lot of different champions. You think back to when he started playing the Syndra. It was pretty poor initially, and then he became one of the best Syndras that we had in the LCK.
Well, Grace has been one of the most LeBlanc players we've had in the LCK, and he definitely hovered it for a while.
Okay.
But now going to go a bit more soft when it comes to attacking lane. It won't be the LeBlanc trying to hard crush the Zoe. Going to be Grace jumping on the Orianna. Now both sides have a lot of CC. Gen G definitely feeling like they're going to try and make this a tempo draft siege with the Ashe and the Zoe. But team fight available to both sides of Gen G versus Jin.
If Gen G can get this win, we would be seeing 3 red side Orianna picks all go with a loss. Can they pull it off this time?
Well, it's not a Trundle who can really profit if the flash is down. It is a Sejuani this time. Trying to punish the Orianna, but Umti gave a bit of a blueprint on how to shut down Orianna in game number 2. See if Ambition goes away from his usual farming ways. And he's got such strong CC in his side lanes. Maybe we can actually see a real vintage Ambition performance where he comes back with the aggressive side that he only shows very rarely. It is a must-win game for Gen G.
You want to see that? I want to see perhaps a vintage Crown performance coming out here in the mid lane. Make things nice and competitive between he and Grace. We'll see how that one's going to unfold. The Orianna has not been very successful today, but Jin Air, they're going to try it again. They're going to try to get some success. They have a lot of pick potential with that explosive cast from the Gragas, with the Chains of Corruption.
But have I introduced you to the enemy team with a Tahm Kench and pick champions as well? If it's pick versus pick, it's usually whoever snowballs their team first picks up the victory.
Oh, well, we'll see. Looks like this one might be another slow start of a game coming through as we wait for that Ashe and the Varus to get their items in.
I like it when it's predictable. This one could go long.
All right, well, we're going to see just how long it goes. 10:15 here in Korea. Let's see how late we can make it. We jump onto the rift for game number 3. Very aptly timed with the Crown video.
It's got a great beat.
Yeah. Papa couldn't help it. He just went for the clap. It was easy, you would say, to keep up with the beat.
Well, we heard the Papa clap. We saw the Jin Air clap. So will this be game 3, the clapping here between Jin Air and Gen G, or will that just be when Faker beasted Jensen in the mid lane? We'll wait and see. Crown pushes up. He's flexing a little bit. Seems like Crown's having a good time in his big return.
Whoa. Hamming it up. Got that Crown sign ready to go. So a lot of fans very happy to see Crown back into the mid lane.
And it did get there. We did reach that milestone.
Oh,
Congratulations to
it.
Ambition. Nice
That's right.
clap from the audience to continue our clap discussion. 400 games for probably the best mid laner in Korea, pre-Faker, and also retired because of Faker. So
Yeah.
on to see Ambition reach a great milestone. Been around since 2012 spring. One of the true legends of Korean League of Legends.
Can you do it, Core JJ, but holds it, doesn't go for the next tongue lash. So just a cheeky little invade there to try to get some harassment down. Now we go straight back into good old farming.
If you guys were sitting there during the loading screen wondering what type of Varus we would see, again, the calculation is, if there's true tanks, I need to be able to kill them, so lethality goes out the window. You need to be able to go play the Ruin King into a Rage Blade, and thus we do see Teddy jumping onto the lethal tempo. Very, very common build pass, so that's what you'll see. If you see 1 or 2 tanks, in this case 3, definitely do not go lethality Varus. You'll have a bad time.
Well, see here, the loss rate for the Orianna has not been that good. Crown jumping forward, still taking a bit of damage.
Now the reason why Crown's making this play is he has a Corrupting Potion.
Oh, it's a lot of damage down with the Grace. Sees here as he roams over.
Did he use his heal? Huh.
He did.
Well, that was maybe not the best calculation, even with the Corrupting Potion.
I don't know. Yeah, just tried to go in. Thought maybe he thought that he was going to have the damage.
Actually, looking for assassination onto Grace here, but Grace smartly using his minion wave to defend from that.
Oh, and now pushing in. Dissonance.
When the ball is
Zoe.
snapped back, that will be when might actually see Crown walk up, but instead the wave going to be pushed in, so unlikely to find too much from this.
Yeah, might just have to go separate ways. Ambition, however, hovering here. Umti's going to start rotating out. But both junglers just going to kind of split away. Umti wrapping around from behind. Do they look for this?
They definitely are going to look for this.
Yep. Oh, body slam forward. Umti just going to get the flash away. Doesn't use his own. Great bait.
A freebie, like you mentioned, Achilleos. Now, you really don't have a lot of tools to trade with Orianna. Now, if you use your portal jump, you get shockwave when you get back to it. You're going to be very accountable to the trade. So this might actually be lane control for an Orianna after a series has been defined, as you talked about, with just Orianna losing on the red side consistently in Game 1 and Game 2.
Very nicely done there. Can't really blame Crown for having that itchy trigger finger with the flash, but will put him at a severe disadvantage. And now Umti, he's going to have that flash body slam potential for either a revisit to the mid lane or just somewhere else on the map.
So one probably going to be jumping onto the Wits End hype train in this game. Ambition there for a counter game, but not going to be able to make something assertive happen. Free damage being taken. So probably Wits End, so on, and Cuvée. Catalyst into situational, as we see with most Cho'Gath builds. Probably has to go for the magic resist side of things here, the Abyssal Mask, rather than necessarily being able to go for a Righteous Glory like you might want to. It's always nice when the Cho'Gath actually shows his build first, because then as the cannon you can go play the Ruin King or Wits End respectively. A Catalyst into situational is always a safe way to travel.
Well, just going to be some back and forth here in the bottom lane. Mostly focused on farming. Don't expect to see any real action, perhaps, until we see the level 6 on the Ashe. And on to Teddy. Have Chain of Corruption and that enchanted crystalline arrow.
And all Umti has to do is farm till 6 and make sure that none of the vision Ambition puts down to try to help Crown leads to anything, because then this will just be the norm of Grace standing in the minion wave with a 2-summoner advantage and hitting QW trades reliably onto Crown.
Vision showing face here in mid. So that Scuttle Crab's coming up. Umti's waiting in the brush, but Ambition. Spidey sense is tingling.
Has to walk up eventually. He's getting his bot lane to walk up for JJ and Ruler.
Starting to roam. Pushes him away, but the Scuttle Crab's still going to be grabbed by the side of Jin Air. Now they're pushing in. They're going to be looking for Ruler. That flash body slam is still there. Devour coming down. For JJ spitting Ruler out over the wall, and he's just going to get popped. Nothing for him to do. Locked up so long that he couldn't flash. Ambition trying to escape on the backside of the pit. Dragon doing him a little bit of a favor, putting him into the back a little bit faster, but that's first blood over to Jin Air again.
Jin Air just playing so smart. They make the right call at every moment. Still has his flash up, kind of amazingly, given the scenarios we've seen him in, but he got the maximum both times. Getting the stun onto the Tahm Kench was the start of the CC trigger. Got a lot from that, but now Teddy has no mana, and Core JJ's back. Yeah,
trying to at least force out some of these summoner spells. Nova be falling low. Now they're trying to turn this one around. Nearly get those concussive blow procs in onto Ruler. He'll kite back, throws out the volley. Manages to find an answering kill on the Nova, but now Grace is roaming down. He is level 6. He does have the shockwave, but the members of Gen G are a bit too far away, and he doesn't want to have to flash in for what might result in a kill, so we'll just go ahead and kite his way back up to mid.
T's flash down now. Nova can get teleport back to lane. It's not going to be a disaster for him necessarily, even though he goes down. All about wave control. No backs at 61 CS for either the Varus or the Ashe. And the top side is Catalyst versus Merc Tread, so as uninteractive a lane as possible. Oh, we never got to this actually, Kilios, says is spotted by Ambition, but notice that Sowan has knock-on for AD cannon for once. It is going to be an AP cannon.
Oh. From
Sowan. Zoe and the Ashe are both pretty decent range siege champions who want to load up together in a 4-1. And Cannon's going to be looking for an assassination, doing his best Tal or Smeb impression.
Just push them all the way back to that inner tower. Not getting too much damage in, though. They want to go for the recall. Or JJ coming back just to try to catch the wave here. What?
Oops. Well, that was bad.
Oh, dear.
It's Core GG, but the other type of GG.
Yep. This is the other side of that NA import meme.
Thought he left that tendency in North America. Sadly not. He goes golden, remembering better days when he was winning the World Championship.
Well, Teddy and Nova in the mid lane. Let's focus on that. Hey! Crown just going to be clearing out the wave. They're hovering behind, waiting for an opportunity. But not going to find one, so probably just going to be a roam back down to the bottom lane.
Well, we call those whoopsies in the LCK. Big whoopsie from Core JJ.
I wonder if he realizes that he was on camera.
He was next to the minions, so he knows. The enemy team know. I guess
no,
he could be optimistic that the fans don't know, but
yeah.
We caught you. We caught you red-handed.
That's one of those moments where OGN needs to have a reaction shot.
It's always one of the first things I took to when I started watching competitive League of Legends, was noticing how in Korea they would always focus on the player rather than necessarily the champion. There's always about building the storylines on players. This might build a storyline. Crown.
Shockwave, yeah, on a Crown. Pushing forward for the body slam. Will draw out an Abyssal Voyage. As Core JJ arrives, but better hope he doesn't get into a bad situation. Otherwise, he's not going to have a stopwatch to save him.
Ambition just can't get a Scuttle Crab to save his life.
Nope.
The previous good play for Jin Air was made around a Scuttle Crab contest that Gen G tried to make.
I have not been tracking, so I'm not sure how many they...
I believe they've all gone to Jin Air, but one might have been taken topside at level 1. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
Cube coming for a bit of a roam. Crown says, I would really like to have a summoner taken away.
Grace going to start zipping his way down a little bit too early on that trouble bubble, but now it's going to be a lockdown into the Glacial Fissure here onto the Tahm Kench. Core JJ's going to die, and Grace made it out alive.
I don't think stopwatch would have saved him, but probably feels a bit silly about that one.
No, it would have been better to have it than to not.
I was watching the CC bar to see if we could flame him about it or not, and kind of 60-40 on that one. Still, he goes down. Grace only has to use a single summoner. Gonna watch the replay. Let's consider if stopwatch would have saved him. I'll let you be the judge, Kilios.
Okay, knock back.
Wouldn't have used it yet.
Still
CC'd.
Flashes away, and yeah, he died before he hit the ground there.
All right. He actually sold the stopwatch, got away from the scene of the crime. Didn't want a broken stopwatch in the inventory.
Never existed.
20 gold, got him a health potion, maybe.
Hell yeah.
Now I want Core JJ to release his autobiography of If I Had Stopwatch.
If I had stopwatch. The Core JJ story.
Yep. Well, Jinner don't have to worry about the ifs. They got the Mountain Drake. This is going to be a freebie to them. They found 2 good news stories around the bot lane. Jinner looking for that match victory to get them away from relegations and also condemn Gen G to a very likely 4th spot on the ladder.
Who would you have narrate that for the audio?
If I had stopwatch, Ghost Crawler.
Ghost Crawler?
Yeah.
I was going to say Morgan Freeman.
I mean, Morgan Freeman's just the voice to everyone's life story. I want some Riot flavor. Give it to me. Let's see how AP Cannon does this game. We're ready for some big AP Cannon plays. Doubling down on some AoE Wombo. First good trade for Crown all game.
Well, Jinner again finding themselves with a lead. Ambition pushing into mid. Is here to back up Grace again. And he is just stepping to Ambition so well in this series.
Battle warding kind of feels like a little bit. Usually that's a Nidalee versus tank jungler term, but the battle warding is all about denying the enemy any ambiguity. Speaking of ambiguity, this is not spotted by Gen G.
Nova, what you got for me?
They
They're
have
checking the
no
one push.
idea. There's a 3rd person there.
Control ward coming down. They're going to try to clear this one out. They say, haha, here we are. Ashero comes down. Nova, get himself out of that. Redemption comes through. Glacial Prison locking up in onto Umpty. He'll flash away. Going golden is the Braum, but he's in the middle of the fight and should get taken down. Umpty on the exit. His Crown hounds him down, manages to find the kill. The tongue lash out from Core JJ will come up with that one. So 3-2. Gen G swing themselves into a gold lead.
Not sure the Korean haha translates the same as the one we're used to, because that was a ruse pulled by Jinner on themselves. I think they were caught in vision a couple of times, and Gen G brought down all the members. They problem solved it well. They get the 2 kills. And this should be bot lane turret and blue buff potentially taken away by Gen G.
Yep, gets it right before Grace can arrive. So good pick up there. Ambition now hovering around the back, but he doesn't have that Glacial Prison, so we'll just go ahead and assault over the wall. A lot of damage in onto the tower, but no first brick yet for Gen G, but they'll be happy that they now have the lead. It's only about 500, 600 gold up, but I mean, this was a bit of a big brain moment.
They actually see Roller walk into the brush.
Yeah.
So this is the counter whoopsie. I would argue worse than the Core JJ whoopsie. They bring in 4 members and just slam them. Space Jam onto Jinner. It's deadly effective, and now Gen G have actually regained a lot of the momentum they've lost around the bot side of the map.
Well, that's quite the turnaround. What was otherwise a very strong start for Jinner twice in a row. So, but they're not out of it yet. You know, the
Teddy's
lead
got
isn't that massive.
Teddy got all the gold, so he's 2-0-0 and did not die. And that previous play,
He's got the Bork.
seeming like
So does Roller though.
not 100% clear as to what his next item would be. Could be Zeal item, could be Rage Blade. Arguments for both. Definitely gonna take a long time to kill the front line of Gen G, so it was very clear he'd be going into this sort of itemization. So on, started Merc Treads, but working on this AP Cannon build. Again, Tal had that big 5-man cannon ult last time we saw the AP Cannon in the LCK, and we had 2 games in a row of on-hit cannon, so a welcome return to the more explosive side of the Lightning route.
Smeb sitting at home proves.
When I saw Smeb playing 2 games of on-hit cannon in a row, I got very sad.
Yeah, it's just not the same, man. What was the big moment? Was it 2016 Worlds?
It was.
Yeah. Man, what a flank.
Oh, this is no flank. It's a return to the scene of the crime, invading the red buff here.
Spotting this one out. Trouble bubble. Almost hit. I think that would have stolen. He didn't have smite, so it would have been a decent little takeaway there, but not going to find it.
Mission waiting for this control ward.
Yep. The cask's not going to do a whole lot of anything to him, so he's all right. You know, Rockets is throwing those champagne bottles all willy-nilly. Those things are expensive.
It's a brand I'm not familiar with. Not sure what that is. We're chasing for a kill here.
Looking for the battle star, and it does
Ooh.
connect. Looked like that barely. I thought that was going to miss, but
Oh.
does manage to find the hit. Grace with no mana getting jumped on. Crown trying to finish him off. I think we'll do so. Trouble bubble in. Next on to Umpty. Nova falling low, jumps to the side, has the shield up. Ash Arrow comes down, connects on the Teddy. No kills still yet found for Gen G as they get knocked away by the explosive cast. It seems like that will be enough for them to go their separate ways. But they get the zone out onto the members of Jin Air. Now they can pick up that bot lane tower.
A very nice disengage on the ult from Umti, but you're right, it should be at the cost of the remainder of this turret health. Tahm Kench and Sejuani gonna proxy the minion wave to guarantee it. Solo turret gold onto Ash would be much better than Ruler being on the defensive side. And Kilios, I know you and I were talking about this in game number 2, the difference between Gen G when they have a winning bot lane and when the bot lane falls behind.
Yeah.
Bot lane was behind this game after the misplay from Core JJ and the nice capitalization by Jin Air. But they go for the gimmicky turret dive, it doesn't work out, they're caught, and now it's gonna be Ash rotating through with a nice little lead in the bot side in terms of gold. This is usually where the game squares up and Gen G prosper in these scenarios.
Crown rotating up towards the top side, just hoping to zone back so on. Unless he wanted to commit forward with a slicing Maelstrom, wouldn't be able to clear them out. He doesn't want to do that. Knows that a feast would just come through, and he would get popped. So we'll just be losing another tower. So that's 2-0 as Gen G start pushing forward, nearly up 2,000 gold at the 17.5-minute mark. Teddy and Nova answering back a lot of damage onto this tier 1 tower in bot, however.
I know that Ruler's ultimate is on cooldown for a little bit, and Umti was in the chase. Most of their vision's around this side of the jungle, so it makes sense to push up where they know they're strong. Tank wars.
Yeah, no one's gonna die here. Even with, I think, an Orianna in the mix, Ambition would be able to survive.
No Runic Echo from Gragas today.
The finish here. That's going to be Glacial Prison coming down. Gets on the Nova. Teddy taking a lot of damage. Chain of Corruption comes through. Or JJ's there with the Devour, but he will still get locked up. Ash Arrow going to clip in onto the Braum. Misses the Varus there. Flash and heal coming out. Keep Teddy alive, but Nova cannot say the same. The last few arrows are coming out of that volley. Do take him down as Ruler finds the kill. They're pushing in. They're looking for a bit more. Shockwave will drag them back and stop them from advancing. But Gen G, they can just turn around. They can go over to this Mountain Drake to match against Jin Air.
Beautiful positioning for an Orianna ult and Cannon ult, but of course the items are not there to show true threat onto Gen G. They don't even invest those ultimates, so one keeps his just a flash instead. They do claim the blue buff, which Gen G will be frustrated about, but they'll take the Mountain Drake after all.
Go ahead. Pick that one up. Juve just going to get a feast stack rolling in. And he's like, well, I'm already down here. I'm at bot. I don't have a TP. So I'll just set up camp here. So back to base for the Ash and Tahm Kench. They'll move up to the top side of the map where they have a turret to back them up. Umti at the moment going to be looking for the Rift Herald.
He knows that the enemy was spending more time bot side and then going to recall and spend their gold. So that should give him a bit of time to start the Rift Herald, but it should be spotted by Gen G, and Ash already coming top side of the map. There's no real speed to this finish, so we'll see if there's a true contest here by Gen G. Grace actually missed his QW there, which, you know, tells a story.
Not going to find anything, it would seem. Rift Herald will get taken.
Being zoned away from it.
They pick it up.
Not yet.
Oh, they're going to have to go over the backside of the pit, so maybe just going to be denied away the trinket here.
How long will Ambition chill around this area?
He will. We know how long he will sit to stop people from flanking. He is going to hound this down to make sure no one can pick up that trinket.
No one can complain about getting no ganks when Ambition's on the patrol.
Well, another massive hit onto Grace, so he's not going to help escort them in.
All right, there's about another 10 seconds on this one, I think. Ambition's literally on top of it.
Good luck getting through that hitbox.
If Ambition has...
Poro can just devour it.
There will be no VOD review where Ambition is criticized for giving up this Rift Herald.
Nope. He can certainly be criticized for a lot of things in Game 2, though. But so far, pretty darn good here in Game 3 in his 400th game in his career.
I think we should write a poem about Shelly when she gets taken down but can't actually be unleashed on the world again. Like this feels like the tragic war poem.
She can't impart her gifts to anybody.
Exactly. Like then she just died for naught for 25 gold.
You know,
when I was
tis the life of the Rift Herald.
When I was in high school, we did war poetry. I'm sure a lot of people have done war poetry at some point during their upbringings. And
wall or war?
War.
Okay.
Not wall poetry.
It's like you just write it on a wall.
That sounds like a North American politics thing I don't want to talk about.
That sounds like graffiti.
But Dolce et Decorum Est by Wilfred Owen. That was a big one about tragedies. So, I don't know. Bit of a tragedy there that Shelly died for nothing.
Yeah. Just comes with the territory of being a neutral boss here on Summoner's Rift. Nova getting shoved away here. But if someone writes a nice haiku, tweet it at Papa and I.
There's been some SKT haikus coming out, so there's always a Shelly haiku around the corner. We invite all submissions. Speaking of submissions, Gen G really want to take this mid lane out of turret to stop Orianna farming forever.
Still just playing around it at the moment. Gen G constantly applying that pressure, wave moving up in bot, so Someone's going to have to answer for that. And he doesn't have a teleport to quickly join in with the rest of his team.
Still Jin controlling the flank on one side, not the other one, so unfortunately Varus is going to have a little bit of a sleep. Sleeping on Judy, he needs to wave clear.
And that's going to be, yeah, exactly, the wave clear taken out of the fight for the moment, so open up with a couple hits there from Ruler onto the tower, but still going to be a while before he starts ripping those to pieces.
And remember, they have to recognize the threat of Cannon if they can't see him. It's not on-hit Cannon, this is a natural AP Cannon.
Yeah.
So the flank potential much more real onto Gen G.
Genuine concern Cannon. But another wave moving forward, piercing arrow coming down, but this might just be the take. Ruler doesn't have to kite away as Empty comes over the wall, but one final shot will eliminate it. It's going to be all of the outer turrets going down. As Crown keeps Grace occupied on the sidelines.
Nice deep wards. I believe Cannon was spotted on the ward that was put down at the wall, the spot side. That's how they knew.
Oh.
There's no flank coming. Nice accuracy from Crown.
Massive hit, now so on. He's going to have to pop the ult, but the arrow comes in, the feast comes down. Juve finding that kill.
That ward, real MVP. It
Great.
spotted Cannon the first time, then got the kill the second time. Nicely done by Gen G. Putting down wards you don't expect. We don't see a ward at Wolves at 23 minutes very often in the LCK. Umti doesn't seem to be aware of what's going on here, although...
Ambition going to get locked down, Chain of Corruption coming in, he'll go golden. As he kites his way out. No explosive gas comes he. I'd burn that one, so.
Right. Very dark map from a Jin Air perspective. 3 control wards in a triangle around the Baron for Gen G to fall back to. Easy to prosper from now. 2 items onto Ashe. It's another wave clear build going for the Hurricane second. I guess there's been a recent trend to drop Rage Blade. There's been less Rage Blade on Varus and now on Ashe from Ruler. To be fair, Ashe taking Rage Blade is not a common thing, but something you could always consider as an outside choice. Grace pushes forward. He wave clears. When will the Baron threat start from Gen G? Because they have Secure on the Baron, but also great turn with the Trouble Bubble and the Sejuani ultimate.
And Ashe Arrow.
Yeah.
Another tool that they can utilize. Mountain Drake on each, with a third one on the way, so second for whichever team could pick it up. It'll be spawning in 10 seconds, just about. Umti losing his control ward here in the river. It is going to be spotted, so Gen G can just kind of slide in, drop down some vision, and then try to turn over, pick up that dragon here.
Such a different game state from game number 2 that Jin have to once again deal with one of the best teams at closing out with 3 turrets. They're so good when their bot lane is unleashed on the map, and they struggle so much when the reverse happens. Hope continues, the red buff being contested. Expect control wards on the flank and just the tutorial victory attempted by Gen G in this game number 3.
Good sleep coming through. It was a little rough at the start, but Crown, his accuracy is certainly looking quite good. Very reminiscent of Fly from game 1 when he was really landing those triple bubbles at every twist and turn. Mountain Drake will get started up. Gen G looking to put a second dragon on the board for themselves.
All 3 spawns to Mountain Drake this game, so third mountain secured. Cho'Gath wants a feast stack.
Very much.
Ocean a bit of a junk Drake as the 4th and final one before Elder spawns.
Bit of a gross one. But
Yep.
We'll just get picked up, if it does get picked up, just for an extra stack in case you find an Elder Dragon later on.
It's a bit of a corn on pizza situation as this 4th Drake. It's an ingredient, yes, but no one's excited about it.
Exactly. Very strange one. I don't think I'll ever understand that one, but I do wish I could find, for my local ramen place, I wish they had corn. They don't.
Well, Genji wishes they had an inner turret, and they might.
Yeah, they're gonna get it. It's gone. There's nothing that can be done. They're trying to pinch in, but I don't think they're gonna be fast enough. Now they're trying to turn things around. Arrow coming out looking for Teddy. Glacial Prison comes down. Nova gets himself out of there. Sleepy Trouble Bubble now to lock up the Braum. All of their focus is being turned in onto him. Jador having a rough time. Cube gonna get popped back in by the explosive cask. He's a very tanky Cho'Gath.
Misses.
Flashes away. That's gonna be Sohan pushing forward with the slicing Maelstrom. They try to get in on a Ruler, but he is still quite healthy. Going golden is empty. Teddy able to get rid of QA finally, but Ambition is taking down the Braum. He retreats back over towards the base. Grace taking a lot of damage. Another Trouble Bubble connecting in onto him. Keeps himself safe with the cleanse. The members of Genji solo. The piercing arrow from Teddy flies straight and true. Finds the hit on the crown and takes him down. TP coming in. Sohan looking for a flank. And Teddy gets the 2-for-1 special. Triple kill in the end going over to him, and Jin Air might have just swung this into their favor as the Baron is still on the rift.
Who even needs lethality? Screw those items. He gets the double kill with the Q anyway. They walk over to the Baron. This should be Baron Jin Air. Gonna start off with the mid lane turret first. Ambition still alive. Does Jin Air, with their low mana bars, actually give up the Baron Dream?
I don't know if they can go for it now. Top turret under a lot of pressure here. The minions working that one down. They have to respond to it, so this is not going to transfer into a Baron for Jin Air.
Teddy has
But
bloody
man,
6 kills out of nowhere.
Exactly. It is a monstrous Varus that they have right now. 6-0 for Teddy.
And he was just having such a quiet game. Got the first 2 kills, but watch the replay here. This is really, really long replay because it's just a very long standoff. Cuvée is just in the front trying to zone for the longest time. The shockwave misses, and you think, okay, Jin Air screwed this up. Sohan has to exit almost instantly, doesn't get the back-ended damage onto that ultimate from the AP cannon. But then Ambition gets so greedy, diving in. It's a QSS out of the Braum. We think it's all over, but Teddy is the best front line AD carry we have. Gets 1 snipe for his 4th kill of the game. Ruler and Core JJ trying to hold onto the summoners. Watch this Q though, gets the dissonance, flashes into it. Oh, Teddy.
Gorgeous. I mean, he's got 100% of the kills. All 6 kills are on the Varus.
He did
Look at this damage!
7,100 damage.
In 50 seconds.
Let's count the enemy damage, 6,000. So that's, 6,000, 7,500. They did about 8,100 damage. He did 1,000 damage less than the entire Gen G comp when they were ahead. They're still ahead in gold.
Wonderful. So Teddy, Deathless. Grace, Deathless. Wonderful, wonderful performance from Teddy there in that last fight.
He's got 3 items and a QSS. He's gone Berserker Greaves. This man only knows how to carry. Gotta say, remember Jin Air at this point, they got another game. Seems unlikely they're going to be in relegation. Achilles, we only have 1 best of 3 to cast of Jin Air, probably for the entire year. They only play once more. They're not going to be in promotions likely. They're not going to be in the top 5, of course, so no gauntlet for them. No Worlds qualifier for Teddy. Let's enjoy our Teddy while we still have a chance.
Yeah, it's a hot commodity right now.
Some people believe that you outgrow your Teddy. I disagree.
No.
I'm always going to keep my Teddy as close to me as possible.
Man, he is trying to keep the dream alive here for Jin Air. Big struggles in the early game, but Teddy forcing he and his squad back into this one to try to get that victory. You can't get that close to that perfect gaming Gen G and then go down like this. Teddy, is it going to be another one? Yes, it is. Still 100%. 7th kill for the Varus.
He's never had 100% kills. We've seen it only from the Afrika marksman. Aiming and Kramer had those 2 games where they had 100% kills.
It doesn't happen very frequently. Now we see that, but even with Ambition going down, there's no smite, but Jin Air still too apprehensive about starting up the Baron. That wave and top still has to be dealt with.
Juggermore was invented so that Prey could frontline with Lulu's shield, with things like that. This is actually only Orianna, Dissonance, and Orianna shield, which of course has been nerfed in duration. He has a Braum for some utility, but he's frontlining anyway. Doesn't matter how many supports he has. It's always 4 supports and Teddy when it's Jin Air GreenWings.
He's taking a decent chunk of damage there from Crown. Trying to get rid of that Gragas. But he'll be all right. He can stick around.
All right, Janair, do it for Teddy. Think that Teddy's going to be able to play these fights out perfectly. But Janair, we've seen Grace hula hoop already once this game. They're still behind in gold. 1,500 gold lead for Genji. Genji, again, are still set up for first place. They can very much still win. If results go their way, losing one game, not ideal. The match score could end up being the important part. And not out of this game by any means. If Teddy dies, Janair die around it.
Yeah. Man, Cuba's massive. Seeing him lumber around the map. I really like the pose that Gragas was doing as he got slept.
There's one I saw where I think in the LPL Darius was mid-ult animation and he looked like a dragon. It was so weird. If someone actually gets the clip of that and remembers what I'm talking about, it was legit the coolest pose I've seen since the old Zac days.
Well, Gragas is like mid-body slam, so he's like lunging forward and he's like looking up in the sky, so it looks like he just pulled a lever and he's waiting for the water to drop on him. Nice silhouette shot coming through.
Well, Umti keeps drinking. Janair have brought this game back to relative parity. Even the vision lines are gone. Genji were just strangling out Janair in terms of vision, but a couple of botches later, some super plays by Teddy. And now everything is in what-if territory on both sides. Teddy walks up, feeling confident. Can Janair rally around this player and find a way to win this game 3?
Well, things going to be slowed down a bit. We are so close between both of these squads. Genji barely maintaining their lead at the moment. Ash Hero tossed out by Ruler, but not going to find a connection.
I was watching the minimap and it actually lagged as it was exiting the rift and looked like it was stuck.
Stranger things have happened.
Season 3 coming soon.
Yep.
I'm actually really excited about that.
Yeah, it's a great show. They managed to keep things interesting for Season 2. We'll see how they approach another
I've
one.
aged into nostalgia being one of my favorite things.
I mean, the soundtrack on the show is just absolutely killer. I'm a big fan of synthwave, so it really appeals to my sensibilities.
I'm a big fan of 100% kills, which is what Teddy has right now.
You
7
know?
of the kills, only 7 of them out there. There is a sweet hat onto Sowan, so if they spend too much time looking at Teddy, AP Cannon could do a number.
I mean, Tower is going to be taken down here. Genji having to show too much respect. They peel back.
Okay, Cuve's coming, but so is the Cannon through lane.
Yeah, I think Cube's like, you know what? Maybe I don't want to walk this way by myself. Because Teddy will melt him.
Could there be 60 minutes left in the game? Common sense says no. They're going on to Teddy.
Having a heart attack there for Ruler's sake. Shots coming down. Crown and Ambition both take a decent little chunk. Another one there. Shockwave coming out, but denied. Great timing on the Devour there from Core. JJ saves Ruler's life.
Grace has been so close twice now
to stealing Teddy's kills.
Yeah. Look, I think Teddy would take it if it's in service of a victory. Any picks here could mean Baron, especially on Umti.
Yeah.
But he body slams away.
Keeping himself safe. The rest of Genji pushing forward. They do have a lot of confirmed for the Baron with the Feast here, but just getting into a position where Teddy can't just free hit you is just so unlikely. So
He has.
Might just have to settle for an Ocean Drake if they want to take anything. Otherwise, we might just continue to have this standoff in the mid lane.
1,700 gold lead, even though his team is behind in turrets. Bit of a CS lead also to make that up. More Malmortius. Ruler always goes for a bit of a tankier build. He's got a very strong front line, but just wants to not be popped by the cannon. Level 17 for Sowan again. The cannon finds the right angle. More Malmortius be damned. People gonna die.
Oh, looking for that trouble bubble. He would have been in a pretty bad spot had that connected. Does have the flash as well to help take him away from that, but not going to get the hit. Scuttle Crab in front of the Baron going to be expiring. Otherwise, no vision in that vicinity. Umti is now pushing over, has a couple control wards, so should expect to see him throw those down. Just to try to make sure that Genji can't find their way into that Baron's hit. Cube just going to take away a blue buff because why the hell not?
So big.
He's a massive, massive monster. When do we get the Cho'Gath versus Godzilla movie? I know they're making the Godzilla versus King Kong movie.
All right, it's releasing maps and doing cool stuff. I don't know. I'm open for some Riot games. I'm open for some Riot movies. As long as Teemo doesn't star in them, I'm alright.
Yeah. Oh, something tells me the rights to Godzilla are expensive.
What about the rights to Cho'Gath? Huh?
Probably also expensive, but one has a very deep history in
Cho'Gath.
cinematic lore. And I don't think it's the Cho'Gath. No, but he was in that first cinematic that ever came out. He's been around for forever.
Scuttle claimed by Jin Air. They've definitely taken most of them this game. We've gotten tense. It wasn't feeling tense at all 10 minutes ago, but some Teddy heroics later.
He's got a bloodthirster now.
He's almost full fountain laser. Only needs that more, not more Malmortius. That's a hard word to say. Not the more of Malmortius, but in fact,
The Mercurial Scimitar.
yes, the other M. Stop. We say to both Genji and Teddy, who's just trying so damn hard to close out this game. Still plenty of items onto Ruler. The Infinity Edge also means threat onto the front line. The front line a lot squishier for Jin Air than it is for the side of Genji. I just want to see something out of the Cannon and something out of the Orianna because really has been the Teddy show only.
Cube finds a knock-up. That's going to be the arrow coming out. A little bit of damage in onto Umti. Nova caught up into the front line, but now they'll boop Ambition to the side, nearly proccing the concussive blows, and he has to flash away. Such stalemated fights every single time. It will get so close to going down on both ends, but no one's going to die.
Someone must be feeling like, I just wish I could flank. He keeps rolling in front of people, like, hey, I'm AP Cannon. Speaking of which,
Nova's low. This could be a decent opportunity maybe for Genji if they can get rid of the Braum, not have that unbreakable in the fight.
Shockwave onto 2 people. Cannon ultimate onto any people. That's what we're looking for. Hasn't been able to use either of those cooldowns. Have Grace or so on. Teddy backing away. Might have the Mercurial Scimitar.
I feel like we need a special animation in case Tahm Kench ever eats a Cho'Gath at this point. He needs to like bloat up massively.
I mean, doesn't it make more sense that he just has a stomach that can stretch in weird and wonderful ways?
Just infinite space.
Yeah. Or maybe it's negative space. Exactly. Think about it.
He's removing him from existence and then spitting him back into reality.
Really? You're going to sound incredulous when the alternative is that his stomach gets as big as this Cho'Gath?
It would look funny.
He already looks a little bit funny. He's trying his best. He's got a nice hat, but Tahm Kench, not the most dapper of men.
Cho'Gath can be.
True.
He's a gentleman's guy.
No one plays that one anymore, unfortunately.
No.
An oldie but a goodie.
Up you go.
A lot of sleep's being taken. Teddy does have full fountain laser, by the way. I tell a lie. Selling the boots is full fountain laser, but he's damn close.
He's pushing forward.
Oh, he's got a Knight's Vow now, suddenly.
Forcing Ruler back. We should get a gentleman Tahm Kench skin, though.
I agree.
Looks like a southern gentleman. The 1900s or something, I don't know.
Teddy is so ready to win this game, but double flank from Genji. You get the Unbreakable out. That's actually a very relevant cooldown to draw away. No, they're still going to clear the control ward. They back away. So1 refuses to ever flank. He must be the most honest cannon player ever. Smeb spends 90% of the game in a brush, but So1's like, I'm here.
Yep. Here I am. I'm coming to get you. Like, just announcing everything.
You better have flash, because I do.
Just waiting for one travel bubble to land.
There is one flank ward, close to the position where the Zoe is on the map.
Devour's down. But I don't think it matters.
I like the music. It feels very peaceful. And that's kind of where the game is at. We're at a very peaceful point.
I mean, it's very tense. It's like, aha, I knock you up, but you have shields.
Up you go.
You're not going to... You don't take any.
Let's just increase this game time.
Okay, Abyssal Voyage. Baron started, but they're probably just going to leave.
But they definitely will.
Unless they can get So1 into a nice flank.
That Cho'Gath beast doing a low damage.
Cutting around the side. Baron's
Someone's
down
like,
below
hey
half.
guys.
Ambition No vision at the moment. Scrying Plant comes over. He's going to pop in, and he's not going to be able to get it. Does find the Baron. Glacial Prison going to be tossed out. Teddy flashing forward, looking for the Chain of Corruption on the Ruler. Not going to get it. Gen G kind of waddle around. Jin Air actually do stick to the objective.
Amusingly, Sowan actually kept Cho'Gath honest. He was trying to knock up the cannon as they finished the Baron. Last thing they expected, turn onto Nova.
Yeah.
They know cannon's top lane.
He's taking a lot of damage. Trouble Bubble not going to connect. Gen G now just looking for this Elder Dragon.
It was so unlikely that Jin Air would finish the Baron that it seems like Cho'Gath was caught up. In that case, speaking of catches.
Well, Trouble Bubble on the Nova. He's still going to be healthy. Ambition goes forward. Big pop-up Teddy. He's under fire, and he's going to be dead. Cho'Gath comes up with the kill, and Ruler follows up on the Nova. The bot lane here of Jin Air completely dismantled. Sleepy Trouble Bubble now on to Grace. He will die. It's a double kill for Cuvée, and just like that, everything gets undone. That might just be the finish.
They have the Baron buff. Sowan is still alive. How much can they take here? Umti tried to disengage, couldn't do it. You gotta do something, Jin Air.
Umti's trying to catch the wave. He's trying to proxy, but they have a Cho'Gath who can just soak turret shots for days on end. Cuvée charging in the inhibitor. Going down, it's 40 seconds on Grace, 30 on Teddy. So on, he gets the engage, but he's not going to get anyone. He gets so close to taking down Ruler, but it's not going to happen. And just like that, after getting so damn close, after getting the Baron, Gen G will just roll them into one fight and take the win.
How else will the game end but a free Baron to Jin Air and then a free win to the side of Gen G? Here comes the minions. Gen G win, and they're still on the hunt for first.
What a feel-bad moment for Jin Air. Teddy, you get the finish with 100% kill participation, but you're the first one that dies in the final fight, and it all just unravels. So close to upsetting yet another top 3 team, but they cannot do it. Gen G, they get the victory with the return of Crown, and it's really just Jin Air outplaying themselves.
What a weird game. It feels like we were just playing through an adventure game, but they ran out of budget at the end when they were crowdfunding and there was no ending, so they just said, oh, by the way, they won. But it's exactly what it felt like here. Gen G just pull out a moment in the clutch after the flashes are traded between the Varus and the Ashe. Varus too far up, no ability for the cannon to find an ultimate until it's a 1v4. 1v4 fails, and Gen G are still on pace for top 5.
That means that Jin Air slipped just a little bit further down. Let's go ahead and take another look at this for some odd reason.
Well, the knock-up hits onto Teddy. That shouldn't be the full story, but they realize flashes are down. Maybe they can chase on this. A second ult hits. The Unbreakable doesn't interrupt it. Timing's not perfect. Ruler free hits, and the rest is all she wrote. Gen G take them out. The exhaust onto Grace, actually super clutch.
Yeah,
wouldn't have been enough to get multiple kills, but maybe Ruler goes down and can't lifesteal his way forward. Everybody except Teddy, unfortunately, had a pretty down game for Jin Air, and it wasn't enough for them to get over the line. Gen G win.
Oh, Jin Air. I mean, this is definitely feel bad at the end, just given the way that you lost, but there are signs of hope here. Clearly, the squad has been picking up wins in situations where you would say they absolutely should not on paper. So there is some positives to what we saw from them today. And I mean, you know, full fountain laser here from Teddy. Look at the damage coming in. But unfortunately, it's not enough for them to get the win. The one knock-up leads to a chain of CC coming through, all targeted at Teddy. And that's the problem when you're the sole source of damage really for your squad, is that you have the biggest target painted on your back.
13,000 damage, too many shockwaves. Missed this game from Grace. So on with his earnest elf cannon that refused to ever flank, also very questionable. Teddy did a lot, but wasn't able to get the win. In the end, his flash being down was profited on by the sign of Gen G. Gen G win, and again, 12 match wins. They are joining Griffin at 12 match wins. Their game score further hurt, only a 2-1, so they're going to be at plus 10 compared to the plus 14 that Griffin has moved to with their victory. But Gen G still on the hunt, which would have been likely averted if they lost this game.
Oh man, what a way for that one to get the finish here. All the way to game 3. From nearly perfect gaming Gen G in game 2, only giving up the single kill, no other objectives, to then this, where it looked like they finally had made the miracle swing. MVP though from the side of Gen G, let's see who it's gonna be. It's going to be Cuve on the Cho'Gath, 3-1-3 in the end. He'll get his 4th MVP win of the split.
He was solid in this game. I thought of the top laners, he had much more involvement. Difficult to choose an MVP in this game because it seemed like it was going to be Teddy through and through. But Genji got over the line. Ruler made some good moves at the end, but it didn't matter. Good job by the Cho'Gath. The teleport here, one of the earlier points in this game that dragged so heavily in the mid-game when Teddy pulled off his heroics.
Oh, I feel for that boy. You know, overall, this was a good performance from Jin Air. I don't think this is necessarily one of those times where people like to joke and say that, you know, Teddy is always trying to 1v9, but
I don't know. I saw this last game. He was definitely 1v9.
He was, but I didn't think that many people from Jin Air were doing stupid things where it was
You're right.
kind of that situation. But
they all looked a bit, you know, uninspired, I think. Core JJ, clutch exhaust in that last fight.
Absolutely.
Onto Grace, also very helpful. I wonder if Teddy will be on Jin Air next year. There's the potential for shuffles. SK Telecom just missed playoffs. You know they're going to change some players.
Yeah.
Who knows where Teddy will end up? Could go overseas. I'm sure TSM Teddy is music to the ears of some people. But speaking of music to the ears, I think we need to hear from Core JJ and Cuve.
yeah, and also Joel. So we'll go ahead and throw over to him for the final translation of the evening of the week for OGN. So Joel, take it away.
Thank you very much, guys. This is Joe with your interview translation, the last one for the week on the Saturday night. We do go home on a very late evening because Jin Air did extend us to a game 3, but eventually the better team did win out as Genji was the higher ranked team, and they are tired. Right after that win, how do you feel? It feels like my throat is hurting because I've been screaming so much, but
Hey, Sam.
I think it was a really, honestly, a try-hard game for all of us. I mean, how do you feel like your game was all over together? I think after today, I want to eat some meat, so yeah, meat is the best. I don't mind which kind. That was a good question for obviously Cuve, but for Core JJ, I know the games were interesting in itself, but Alistar feels as if it's a champion that you haven't played it actually that much, but now you're putting it at a all % win rate. I've always had confidence in it, but I just never really had a composition that could fit in well with it, and I knew I had to practice a lot on it and try to improve the mastery of that champion. There was no big issue with the games themselves, but as if the game 2 didn't go well, I'd say you had to extend it over to game 3. What was the mistake on that one? When I had to use some very significant skills, I have to just make sure whether to push away or to raise up in the air. It's a decision that I have to make all the time. And Cuve always staring at Core JJ, but it feels as if 5 wins on the Alistar for 5 played. We do get very funny moments with his Alistar. He does get all wins with it, so I gotta give credits outwards too. And Cuve does talk to ambition in a way where he's very honest and very straightforward, outspoken even. How do you feel about yourself, Kodede? Well, Cuve, he does say bad things to other things, but other people say bad things about him too. So when we can trash talk about each other, it's a good feeling. With the all win, the no losses, Alistar, we're gonna see what Core JJ did maneuver in today's game. And this was right around the warding area. Did you know that the opponents weren't aware? I'm sure you were just looking around basically when your opponents were using the sweeping lens. I didn't really, intend it, obviously, but altogether, I just saw them just kind of standing still and try to just not get caught. That was the thing we were trying to do. And it depending on, which one the opponents were thinking. Core JJ was one step ahead on that one. Game 2 wasn't easy for you guys and eventually did lose out. And now you do just kind of reflect over the game that you did lose, and it feels like as if a game that you guys were really having a hard time with. What is the kind of the thought process when, especially in game 2, where it feels like maybe in that end you guys might have won out? For me, I was trying to just push through the side then and trying to find some advantages for my teammates, and but we weren't in a good situation overall, but just trying to just farm out and trying to wait to the late game and trying to wait for that moment, but that definitely didn't happen for us there. Well, concentration, it seems as if Jinner definitely upped that in the end part of game 2, but what became interesting was that Fly did play in that first and second game, and Crown did come in for the game 3, and we haven't seen him play in a while, and I'm sure you guys put a lot of compliments towards what he did today. JJ, you want to start off? Well, Crown did prepare for a long time, and he hasn't made an appearance for a long time, but he's always been a great player, so you know, whenever he does make an appearance, I think he did what he was supposed to do today. So never really shaken for any of that moment. But Kive, you want to add on to that maybe? You could trash talk him if you want. That's definitely your choice. For game 2, we were kind of just ganked quite a bit on that mid lane, so I was having a hard time with that, but all in all, you know, having not played for a long time, he went with the champion that he was confident with, and he did, and tried to go with the roaming quite a bit. I mean, the jungle ganked him 4 times, and you gotta remember. I think the jungle did a bad job then. Well, you're now just putting the blame on the ambition now. And Kive really relentless on this trash talking to his teammates, but we do have to just keep our eyes on the highlights, obviously, from game 3 and where you guys did win out. It was a tough game overall. It feels as if maybe Jinner was about to win this one. I mean, when we saw the knockup, we knew we were going to get the very nice teamfight win, and we thought that after that knockup, it was a sure win for our part. And before all that happened, it was a back and forth action between you guys, and obviously for around that Baron, it felt as if maybe Jinner was trying to come back to get this win, and you guys were split up obviously between you and JJ. And maybe you wanted to just kind of plan out the strategizing in terms of moving forward with what you were trying to do. I think if we did get hit by Jinner on that instance, we would have lost. And after we avoided some of those opportunities like that, that was the one that kind of got us thinking that we were going to be able to win out this one. But I think this was what JJ was talking about, getting hit. Basically, by that ultimate would have been the difference maker, it seems as if. For Jinner, that was a very close chance, but Genji did very nice to avoid all that. I'm sure you guys have been receiving a lot of feedbacks from your coaching staff in the recent games. You know, obviously with game 3 doing so well after losing out in game 2, maybe you want to say something about that. Well, for game 2, we did lose, and game 3, we tried to just start off very strong and try to not allow any breathing room for opponents. The opponent's strategies became a dangerous proposition for you guys, but game 3 was all in, literally on the team fights, and you guys were either go big or go home. And how was that all about? I think it was a little bit half and half. It was a situation where we definitely could have won, but it could have been dangerous, I should say. But it's something that we had to just look for our opportunities as best as we can on that one. You have to overcome the pressure, obviously, to get the wins if you are Genji. Well, we don't know how exactly is going to end up for LCK, and Genji is still very much in the top rankings. Still finding for that very top ranking is going going to be Genji still fighting for that. But of course, Core JJ and also Kibi, you want to say something about to the fans? I mean, the day is really hot, but the games are really hot as well. So I know that the fans watching, they will be really would be looking for a more comfortable game to watch from us, and hopefully we can work to get that done and have an easier matchup next time around. It feels as if the fans are more susceptible here. We do have a couple games, and we do want to just make sure we get the best finish as we can as a team. And for LCK, it really was Genji that could have always gotten better, but still at least they got the win today. It's going to be a happy moment for these guys. And to close out the season, see how they do for the rest of the season. We're going to find out in a bit, but for the meantime, that's going to be congrats to Genji and sending it back to you guys.
Thank you very much, Joel. So good to hear from those guys, and I'm sure they're feeling quite relieved after that win, given how close it was. Jin Air with the near turnaround off the back of Teddy, but they can't quite get it. He gets caught, he goes down, and that's just game over for them. So Genji, they do put that win on the board, not in the 2-0 fashion that they would have liked coming into today, but hey, we got Ambition's 400th game on his career.
We definitely did. That means that Genji moved to 12-5, but note the game score. Genji, when it comes to head-to-head, only own the head-to-head over Kingzone. It's very likely that Griffin or KT will be right up there at the same amount of match victories, so hard for Genji to actually push forward for a first place, especially after dropping again.
Yeah, just want to be mostly out of that wild card match where it is a best of 3, not a best of 5. So fewer chances to try to earn your way forward. And yeah, bad memories from the last time they were in a wild card match, so they certainly want to avoid it even more so.
That's all we got.
We're not done yet, but we're almost done. So only a couple more days, guys. 4 more days of the regular season. We got tomorrow, then Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and then that is it. We will finish with MVP versus KT Rolster.
Two big protagonists are KT Rolster and Griffin when it comes to first place calculation. KT will play on Tuesday against Hanwha Life. That's a tricky one. Hanwha Life also in the race for top 5. We'll be back with OGN on Wednesday, Afrika Freaks versus Jin Air, Griffin versus BBQ. Griffin, the other protagonist when it comes to the likely team to finish first. Very hard to see them losing the match against the BBQ Oliver's team that already is basically going to be mathematically eliminated by then, barring some real shenanigans. So for Griffin and KT, but also for Kingzone and Genji, there should be a lot of hope about next week, because we're probably going to go right to that final match of the season. Thursday, you and I actually will be there for KT versus MVP. Very likely the winner of that, if it is KT, will actually win the regular season for the first time ever.
Yeah, it's highly possible that that could occur, so don't get excited yet. It's a possibility. We're not trying to rile you up or anything like that. But also MVP, you know, these next couple games must wins if they want to try to edge out above Jin Air and avoid that promotion tournament. They don't want to have to play in that again.
Any victory and they're above Jin Air, and Jin Air is playing in relegations in spite of some really good recent form for Jin Air.
Yeah, unfortunate for them, you know, not having ADD rather because of his complications, but now they're back. They're going to try to get those wins. But guys, thank you so much for joining us. I'll see you guys on Thursday with Papa Smithy as we close out the season. Until then, enjoy Valdez and Atlas.